Welcome to this lockdown locker room chats. I'm Ali C. I am the sport development coordinator here at the university, and I'm joined today by Gordon. Hi, Gordon.
Hi Ali, how you doing?
I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good, good. Thanks for your time. Can you tell me a little bit about your role at the university, both within sport and active lifestyle and the athletics union?
My role within the university, my title is Senior Operational Manager for Sport and Active Lifestyle and Director of the Athletics Union. And I essentially have the strategic vision for sport within the university. I manage all of the teams within that, both at the Athletics Union and the Sport and Active Lifestyle, and make sure that we keep to task with everything that we've set ourselves with the university key performance indicators and government drivers as well. But also listening to students and responding to students. So we manage all of the sports facilities, the gyms, all of the staff, all of the sports teams, all of the education programs behind sport, all of the logistics of getting sports teams everywhere, the sports performance, the partnerships with local community clubs, and then obviously lobbying the university for extra funds, for extra equipment or extra facilities. And if there are any projects on the go, I drive those forward. So it's I see myself as a conductor, within an orchestra, and I'm kind of making sure that everything is on the go all of the time.
Okay, good. You do a lot then?
No, my team do a lot. I just make sure that they're getting it done.
Okay, you were a student here many moons ago.
I was a student here many moons ago, yeah.
Can you tell me about your time here as a student and also your role you had within the Students' Union?
Okay, so I was a student here in 1997 to 2000, and then again in 2002 to 2004 doing a master's. And the university was a very different place then. It was a college, very small, only had one campus. The Chester campus didn't have Warrington, didn't have Shrewsbury, didn't have all of the nursing sites. It was a very close community. Not as many sports, a much smaller kind of sporting background, but still very, very popular and still very successful. My role within the Students' Union was I was Students' Union President in 2000 to 2001. I was very lucky to be elected as Student President, and during that year, it was all about trying to get back to what students' unions were all about, which is representation and driving forward welfare kind of issues. And that was a hugely successful and enjoyable year. I just did the 1 year, but that was enough. I wanted to follow my own career path after that.
Good, thank you. This chat is going to be about sport performance. So could you tell me what experience you have either competing at performance level or coaching?
Yeah, so my background is in high performance rowing, both as a coach and as an athlete. Unfortunately, as an athlete, my career was cut very short due to a back injury. So I rowed, at a high level in Ireland. But when I picked up a back injury, my kind of career changed, and my where I wanted to go changed, and I felt I hadn't achieved what I wanted to in the sport, so decided I was going to become a professional rowing coach, and started researching what I needed to do to do that. Coming from a small place in Ireland, there wasn't really the opportunities to become a high performance coach. But basically took over the running of the University of Galway beginners women's eight, and started teaching them how to row and try to compete at a national level. We were very lucky. We won the University Championships of Ireland that year and the National Championships of Ireland, and that kind of snowballed, and that kind of started my journey in professional coaching. And I decided I was going to come to Chester and do a degree in sports science, and get all my coaching qualifications and basically get lots of experience in coaching to try and elevate myself up the ladder. And I did that and managed to get myself a role, an assistant coaching role both at King's School Chester and then a school in Bath called Moncton Combe School, which I subsequently became director of rowing in 2004 after I finished my masters. But between 2002 and 2004, I worked for British Rowing as a development coach around the northwest of England. But clubs could use me in whatever way they wanted to. So some clubs were using me as literally coaching the total beginners, and other clubs were using me as a high performance coach. During my time at Moncton Combe School, I basically was running the entire rowing program, and it was all about high performance. It was all about qualifying for the national championships and qualifying for Henley Royal Regatta, which the school hadn't done for 10 years previous to me arriving. And I came up with a plan and a template, and we ran with that, and we qualified for Henley 7 out of the 11 years that I was at the school, which is pretty good going. But during that time, I also coached for both England and Great Britain at junior level. So I understood how to move from kind of club level up to international level and what that step needed. So that's kind of my background in high performance sport.
Excellent. So you're a rowing coach then?
Did I mention that I was a rowing coach? Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very impressive. The AU has been up and running for just over a year now. How do you think year one went?
I think on the whole it went well. I think there were some challenges in there. We were certainly on a steep learning curve on the minor details of how to run sport. And I think we made some mistakes, but we held our hands up and said, okay, and we've learned from those mistakes and moved on from it. But I think overall, you can't argue with the positions that we finished in the Bucks League. We were 63rd in the Bucks League at the before lockdown happened, and that was the highest position that the university have ever been in. I think the forums that we introduced was a fantastic way to communicate with the students. There aren't many heads of department that will stand in front of a whole bunch of students to be essentially attacked and said that we're not doing X, Y, and Z right or wrong, as it turned out to be. But I think students really respected that and really responded to that. So on the whole, I think it was very successful. Really hard to gauge because we didn't go through an entire season because of the lockdown that happened March. We didn't get to finish varsity. We didn't get to have the sports presentation, even if we didn't have that summer sporting kind of season. But on the whole, very, very, a very good year, I think.
Good. So we did year one, just about. We were all ready for year two. Year two is 2020, the year that nobody wants to remember.
Yeah.
In the summer, we made a decision there was going to be no training whatsoever. But come, I think it was October time, we got the majority of clubs back training. How do you think that went?
I think it was, again, a challenge, but I think credit where credit's due. I think everybody worked incredibly hard to get people back playing, both from the athletics union point of view, the sport and active lifestyle team, but the committees themselves. I think students were just desperate to play their sport in whatever capacity that was. And the fact that we had lots of hoops that people had to jump through. They had all that documentation to fill out. They had to do the committee training prior to getting these documents. And it wasn't easy, to look at the national governing body guidance, to try and navigate through the government guidance as well, what we could do, what we couldn't do, what the capacities of the facilities were, what kind of sessions that the students were able to do or not do. And I think overall I was incredibly proud of everybody who really rallied together so that they could get out there and play their sport and get new members involved and old members back involved. It quickly got derailed by the government again, which is really unfortunate. But I was as I said, incredibly proud of everyone for working so hard to get back to it.
Yeah, I echo that. Everyone's worked very hard. But that brings me swiftly onto my next question. Now back into lockdown.
Yeah.
And the majority of students are going home early for Christmas. How can the clubs and committees continue to look at personal and/or team performance from home?
Yeah. I think performance is something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. Performance isn't just about playing that game. Yes, you can perform in a game, but performance comes from lots of different aspects all coming together. And those who are into cycling will have heard of the name Dave Brailsford, who used to run British Cycling and now runs Team Ineos cycling team. And he talks about marginal gains, about pulling the small percentages of all these different areas to make the whole and create that performance. And I think students can do that from their bedrooms. They don't necessarily need to be out on the pitch kicking a ball or chucking a ball around or playing basketball or badminton or volleyball or rugby or pole fitness or archery or any of these sports. Performance comes from within and what you want to do. It's already been mentioned in another locker room chat about fitness. Fitness is key to everything. If you've got cardiovascular fitness and your muscular fitness, then that memory of your mind to your body will remember how to kick a ball, how to throw a ball, how to hold the fencing. I was going to say stick. The fencing sword, and that's really important. The fitness and the core stability that goes alongside all of these things. But there's reflection. How did the team perform last year? How did the individuals perform last year? And can you come up with a plan for those individuals? So as a performance coach, let's say I had an eight people, plus the Cox, 9 people. I have to have a plan for each of those individuals. Yes, I have a collective plan to get them from A to B as quickly as possible, but each of those individuals will have strengths and areas of improvement. And I have to come up with an individual plan for those. So sports teams can look at themselves, or committee members can look at themselves. What did I do really well last year? But what things could I improve on? Is it fitness? Is it core stability? Is it flexibility? Is it my tactical understanding? Is it my organization prior to a game? Do I have all of the kit? Do I have the balls? Have I communicated to everybody where they need to be to collect the bus? And have I collected the referee's money? And all these small things that add to a performance. Because if you haven't done those things, you get stressed. And if you're stressed, you're not going to perform at your best. So things like that, organization, lifestyle management, looking at what you're eating. If you're, eating McDonald's every day, is that the best kind of nutrition to be putting into your body if you want to perform at your best? Hydration. Making sure that you shower after, exercise. Very easy for people to, do their training and then sit in their sweaty clothes for a couple of hours afterwards. And that's when the body's susceptible to picking up colds and flus and things like that. So the fitness side of things is important. And people can go onto our YouTube channel. There are exercise classes on there. They can go for runs, they can go for walks, they can. You don't need a gym and you don't need a football pitch to be able to do the training that you necessarily need to do. The other thing is recovery. Are individuals recovering successfully after the training that they do? Because recovery is as important as the training itself. Because when you're exercising, what you're doing is you're damaging the muscles. The muscles are like tendons, sheets that come together. And when you exercise, you're pulling those apart. And you need to recover those. So are they getting enough rest? Are they eating the right things? Are they getting the hydration in? Are they listening to their bodies and recovering effectively? So there's a whole variety of things that teams can be doing and individuals can be doing during this lockdown period that's helping their performance for when we can get back and play.
Lots of advice there. Lots of points there. If clubs are thinking, I don't really know what you're talking about, what advice can the clubs get from the AU and Sport and Active Lifestyle on some of the topics that you've mentioned?
Well, they can come to us and ask these questions individually or as a group. And we've got experts in all of these areas. So we've got experts in strength and conditioning, we've got experts in fitness training, we've got experts in club development, we've got experts in recovery, we've got experts in nutrition. And actually what we've done is we've pulled all of this kind of information into a sports performance booklet, which we can put out to all sports teams, and they can electronically, of course, and then they can send that out to all their teams and say, hey, here are some tips to be able to help you to perform at a better level.
So we are here to help.
We are here to help.
Good. Okay, we've had Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Oh, thank you.
How do you see term 2 panning out, obviously post-Christmas?
So post-Christmas, it's difficult to say at this moment in time. I mean, we're just about to come out of lockdown number 2, and we're about to go into a tiered system. We don't know where chess is going to be in the tiered system. We don't know what tiers the other cities and the other universities are going to be in. So it's difficult to know whether we'll be able to host teams here. It's going to be difficult to know whether we can go to other institutions and they're allowed to host us. At the moment, Bucks are planning to go ahead with the league structure. They're trying to make the decision as late as possible, but I would say by early December, mid-December, we should know what the situation is. So that teams can plan ahead and we can plan ahead for what post-Christmas is going to look like. Let's have a scenario where Bucks doesn't happen because of the tiered system, because of government guidelines. The Athletics Union and the Sport and Active Lifestyle Department have got some plans in place for intramural type activities, inter-sport activities, super team activities, and we're also planning for a virtual varsity against Salford, which is something hopefully people can buy into. If restrictions start to lift, then we can look at other things. But at the moment, it's very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But we have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C in the background.
Yeah, but hopefully it's plan A.
Well, fingers crossed it's plan A. We all want plan A to happen.
We do want plan A, yes. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but how can the Athletics Union Sport and Active Lifestyle help students in their personal performance development or their team performance development?
Well, again, as I mentioned, we've got a huge amount of experience within the department, within both Sport and Active Lifestyle and the Athletics Union. So we've got yourself, who's a coach and an athlete, who've competed at a high level. We've got Ali B, who's competed at Bucks for a very high level at Birmingham University. We've got Claire, who's competed in nationally and internationally as a high jumper. And then we've got the likes of Katie, who is our fitness facilities coordinator, who's a strength conditioning expert. We've got Odell and Neve and Samantha, who are both strength and conditioning and fitness experts. So we've got all of these people within the department who can support, give advice, give guidance, help to develop programs, whether that's fitness, whether that's strength and conditioning, whether that's core stability, whether that's stretching, whether that's club development, whether that's performance. Huge amount of experience, and students need to come and use that. It's shameful that some of them don't. We're not here to dictate, we're here to support. Take our advice or leave our advice, but if you're really keen to get your team as successful as you can, come and talk to us. will make that happen, will ensure that the right blocks are put in for you to help you achieve what you want to.
Excellent. Thank you. Final question.
Great.
What piece of advice would you give to our clubs as we move into 2021 and hopefully better times?
We're certainly going to hit better times, that's for sure. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel with this vaccine coming. And I fully suspect that that the 2021-2022 season will run as normal. But my advice going into 2021 is to make yourself as good as you can be. And utilizing some of those things that I've already mentioned earlier in the interview, is looking at yourself, reflecting, and coming up with a plan for yourself. Just like you do with an essay, you have a subject area, and you've got the parameters of that subject area. You've got to come up with a plan for that essay. There's got to be an introduction. There's got to be a summary. There's got to be a bed of information in there. You've got to get all your research papers. You've got to be critically analyze all of that data and come up with a conclusion of what you think that means. And the same with yourself or your team. You've got to come up with a plan. You've got to look at it critically, rather than saying, well, we've always done it this way. Well, my mantra in life is if you've always done what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. It's really important that people move on and move forward, and put their own stamp on things. So be as good as you can be. Reach your potential.
Excellent ending to a very interesting interview.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.